So, as I was talking about the Rigaroo and the Wendigo in the last video, damn, but that's funny. I'm gonna make this the last video. Hopefully, if I can knock this out within 20 to 25 minutes, no longer than 30 minutes, because I need to hurry up and get this out because I'm sleepy and I'm tired. And I want to laugh at white people doing crazy stuff again. So, staying on spiritual, mythical, and crazy creatures, and why white people go and hunt these things down, and everyone else, like blacks, Native Americans, and other ethnic backgrounds, are like big chicken shits, and we just like, no, we're not going to do that. I'm not going to say that we're not brave, but I'm not going to say that we're not crazy enough to go and be amongst the crazy and the brave white people who are going to go do this shit. So, like I said, no one's trucking through the Okefenokee. No one's trucking through North Carolina and South Carolina swamps looking for the lizard man. Yet there was foul footage that these things possibly exist. There have been like stories how people have run into Bigfoot at like 3 or 4 in the morning on the East Coast and the West Coast and the Midwestern Plains area. So if you have all these stories, I don't think anyone's that big of an attention needer that they're gonna just come up with this shit. And a lot of these stories that you come up with, you can't make this shit up. You can't see it on the Sci-Fi Channel. And you probably can now after they probably watched it and everything. But this isn't like Sharknado, and this isn't like the Z Nation Zombie NATO thing, which is both cool and everything. But in these real life creature events with like Bigfoot and everything, you know, even women who have seen like these werewolves and Bigfoot creatures, and like I said, I get a lot of this stuff because I watch Destination America, and that's not just a plug. If you guys want to give me a job, I'm down with whatever you want me to do, as long as I'm not going out with a bunch of white fellas with rifles going to find these creatures. I'll be the host. I'll host from a soundstage or something where I'm in absolutely no danger at all unless like one of the light fixtures fall. Because I'm not stupid. I'm crazy, but I'm not stupid. I was infantry. And night fire drills is fun, but going out there and the unknown is kind of one of them things where you're like, uh, that's not my cup of tea. And that's not the white in me. That's not the black in me. That's straight up the Native American me thinking, even tribes had sentinels who only went so far around the perimeter where, like in the army, we had sentinels that walked around the perimeters. It was called guard duty, fire guard, whatever. Fire watch, fire guard, same concept. But you never really left the barrack. But you protected your perimeter of your barrack. And when we did live fire drills and we camped out at night at bushwhack, we walked around the perimeter. We didn't deviate from our post. Where you got me thinking that I'm going out here with a bunch of white people with rifles, and I'm the only guy of color. And not only am I going to worry if I'm going to be the talk of discussion at dinner, but I have to worry about, are these guys going to shoot me and leave me here to rot? So because racism does still exist, unfortunately, it's never going anywhere. And you have to think about paranoia, all right? And 9 times out of 10, I also, since I have this new hip and I haven't been cleared to attempt to run, and walking fast is a problem, and you want me to go out there with a bunch of guys with a rifle in the woods looking for a mythological creature that can probably rip us all in half. And I'm pretty sure that if I'm left behind and they get in the side by side, oh, it's a black guy, he's expendable. Yeah, don't think I want to cross that threshold. But when you look at these shows, and I support them, because I watch them, I support them, and I also believe in their cause to an extent. I don't believe that the guys in Mountain Monsters or Alaskan Monsters should be focused on killing Bigfoot. If you're going to trank him and draw some of his blood and then let him go or tag him, okay. As much as I don't like that, I do support it because you're not capturing him and you're not putting him in a cage and you're not keeping him there to you know be a guinea pig. Now there was a show. I don't know the name of the show, and I'm pretty sure it was like staged or whatever. And I think it's kind of like more on the lines of what would happen if we actually captured a Bigfoot. And I don't remember the name of the show, but Bigfoot does escape. I think somebody left the cage unlocked or whatever, or he fucked up the cage, and he came back and he started fucking up soldiers or whatever. This is why these things are out there and they're free. You can't put a wild creature into an environment that it does not belong and think that it's not going to be any repercussions. It's the same thing like before they had zoos. No. A zoo's purpose is basically to save an animal from going into extinction. So we have quite a few zoos, okay? And I can support that due to the fact that I know why a zoo exists. It's not just for people to come by and see the animals in a controlled environment, if we would. And it's definitely not just an entertainment for the children and for people. You know, it's a way for us to study the animals and get to know them. But Bigfoot is not something that you can probably put in a zoo. Because not only would it be a commodity, but it would also make people have to go out and try to capture like 7 or 8 more for the hundreds of thousands of zoos that's out in the world. And how would you feel if you was a specimen at a zoo? What if aliens came down and captured humans and said, look, these humans are from the solar system or planet Earth, and there's plenty of them, so we can go take them into space zoos, but we have to make sure that they have the proper air environment. We have to make sure that they're not genetically kin to each other so that they can mate. And if they have mates and they have children, we have to make sure that we have to go capture more to have mates for them. So eventually it's going to be a big clusterfuck of kidnapping humans and putting them in a zoo, which is not cool, because no one wants to be a slave. No one. And so when you think about things like this, if you have one zoo with like a Bigfoot or something in it, I don't support it, but it one zoo. If you have a male and a female Yeti or whatever, okay, that's cool to a certain extent, but it's not fair because then you get to charge people like millions of dollars because people that, depending on what part of the world the zoo's in, is gonna want to pay that money to go to that zoo, which again is not cool. I don't really support it, but rash transaction, one life for billions. If there's like 100,000 or 100 million Yetis, and you take 2 for every zoo, you still have a problem. Even though you're keeping them alive like we do with panda bears and polar bears and seals and walruses and tigers and shit like that. It's all cool. But when it comes down to it, we're not really doing a lot. Now, the animals that are like virtually on the line of extinction, okay, cool. That I have to support because we couldn't save the dodo bird if it ever existed. But swans are beautiful birds. Flamingos are beautiful birds. There are a lot of beautiful creatures in the world that are more than worth saving. But are we helping or are we hurting them by putting them in captivity is basically what I'm saying. So going back to the subject at hand, if you're gonna like do stuff like that, is it better to try and save them that way, or is it better to like leave them out in the environment and try not to destroy the environment they're in? When I was in Fort Benning, we had specific spots where like this woodpecker that was like going extinct would peck on these trees, and wherever the white I guess you could call it tape because it's like a crime scene, but it was white instead of yellow. Whatever those were like environmental safety zones. So if we had herded all of the Yetis and stuff into one zone, kind of like in Superman or The Flash, where they put Gorilla Grodd in them in a world where Gorilla Grodd and them had their own living space and all that. I could probably kind of support that, but I probably couldn't because who has the right to tell you where you can and can't go? And it's fine to go places as long as you obey the laws. But if these mythological creatures don't speak English, how do they know the laws? Or if they don't speak whatever language of the country that they're in, how would they know the laws? How would they know if they're doing anything wrong outside of corporal punishment? So, it's kind of not the thing to do. And then it's the same thing like, okay, So it, if we have UFOs and we built underwater homes and bases like uh, Sequest, DSV, I'm sure you guys don't remember that, but when you're doing these things and we're putting people in environments, or we build an underwater zoo where we keep all the creatures that live under the water in the zoo, are we helping or are we hurting? Which is the ultimate question. You know, so we have to say, so I can close this out. What is right and what is wrong? Is it right and cool for all these people, specifically white people, to go and hunt these things down? If you're gonna hunt them down and not kill them, if you're gonna train them and run some tests to see the genetic differences or what makes them tick, I don't have a big problem with that. Where if you're gonna capture them and keep them, and if you're trying to save them, it's a thin line, because I do kind of have a problem with that. Because what the fuck are you gonna do with it? What are you gonna do to keep it from getting pissed off? And what happens if it gets pissed off? Excuse me. If it gets pissed off and it's like 4 or 5 times stronger than the average human being, how are you gonna stop it? You don't want to kill it, but how are you gonna stop it? At least if it's out there in the free world and it's not bothering anybody, you don't have to worry about it like totally destroying us on any level. Where if it's in captivity and it wants to be free, who wouldn't go crazy to get their freedom? There is almost nothing that a person won't do to be free. Nothing. If that means killing people or creatures or whatever to get back your freedom. If you're captured in a government experiment and they're telling you you will never see your family or your friends again, and if you try to escape, we will execute you. How many people you think aren't going to try to escape? Because it's like, motherfucker, you think you're gonna execute me? I'm not gonna let that happen. I'm going to do everything I can to escape Farmer's Tan. So both sides. Hi, yellow. So when you think about capturing these creatures like Bigfoot and the Deer Woman and Wendigo and all these things, how do you know what's going to happen? You don't. And like I said, it's really not black people or Native American people running around trying to capture these mythological creatures. We know they're there. Let them be there and leave them the hell alone. Where most people are like, I'm going to capture that motherfucker. I'm going to drain it of its blood and I'm going to see what makes it tick. Okay. It's cool and all, but even science has a limit on the things that it should be allowed to do. Man, you do these things in the name of science. Okay. I was a comic book reader before they cloned Dolly, the goat, you know, and I never ever thought that cloning would ever be possible in my lifetime. I also never thought there would be a black president in my lifetime. Ching! Check on both of those. I have seen a black president. Hell, I voted for him twice. Good job. And I haven't seen the clone, but I've read about the clone, and apparently the clone lived and it's still alive, I think, for like a long time. So, scientifically speaking, sometimes when you subvert science, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. And if anything, anything good can come from it, that's fine and dandy. But with these creatures of myth, not so much. You know, you shouldn't be out trying to kill it. You shouldn't be out trying to capture it or clone it because they've been here longer than us. And as many people as it is, it's not like we're all gonna grab hands from Virginia and trail all the way up and down north and south and east and west in a line of people trying to find these things because the world is still pretty vast. There's places where civilians haven't really touched in America, and government or military hasn't either. And we have the right to live and everything. And this is why I kind of like really support the North thing with the Native American Rights Fund because everything that has been going on, with people like overrunning big corporations, just moving in, taking all the lands and building up strip malls and stuff like that. We're gonna need some of these resources later, so it'd probably be a good idea to stop. You know, I mean, you have to think about the big picture instead of the little picture, and most people don't really think about the little picture. But here's the thing: I'm only partially Native American, so I don't know if North would give me a job or anything, because I do feel my Native American heritage that I didn't really get a chance to get to enjoy, because both of my Native American grandmothers are deceased on my father's side, and my grandmother on my mother's side was basically raised by black people, so she has no, I guess, continuity of the Native American side of her Cherokee heritage or whatever. So if they're listening, I'm down. I'm down with the job for Narf, because I definitely could use a job, and at 42, I could really use a great career and job. So also, you know, Native Americans have been here longer than most people, and the elders, the languages are being wiped out because no one's recording it, no one's taking the time to take an elder by the hand and, like, let's teach us Apache, teach us Cherokee, teach us Inuit, teach us Creek, teach us the lessons that we need to learn now. So before the white man came here, we could keep our heritage and our world straight, you know. And then there's things like all these animal protecting things, Native Americans were doing that before the white man came over and just started hunting everything and poaching and all this other stuff. So you have to think about all life in general, including the mythological creatures. We can't put these guys in cages and shit. Just leave Bigfoot and them the fuck alone, because sooner or later there may be an alien enemy or something that we're gonna need these guardians to come back and save us. And we don't want to be like Rorschach, where they're screaming up, looking at us and saying, "Save us," and he's looking down at them and whispering back, "No," because the planet belongs to everyone. Native Americans, blacks, whites, other Asian tribes. The North thing is like 100% right. You can't keep eating up all the land, because sooner or later we'll have nowhere to hide. We'll have nowhere to go. And the thing with Native American rights and everything, because it kind of deviates into what I was saying about, like, spiritual creatures and how much I love white people going out to try these crazy adventures and everything. The thing with all this is that we all have to work together. When it comes to these, like, creatures like Bigfoot, Yeti, and Jersey Devil and all this stuff, it would do us all a big favor to leave them the fuck alone, because what we envy, we destroy, and what we fear, we kill, and you can't live in fear. And going back to the Narf thing, if you keep taking up all the land, you're gonna force these things to come out anyway, which is going to force them to prove that nature's all old historical fact that survival of the fittest. We don't want to go to war with anything supernatural. Period. We don't want to go to war with anything supernatural, and we don't want to go to war with anything from beyond the stars, because there's no telling what they can do. Most humans, if you poke us, we bleed. Where if you prick us, we bleed. If you poke us, we just get fucking annoyed and want to beat the shit out of things. So since I'm almost at the 20-minute mark, and I'm going to close this video out, and I'm probably going to have to make a fourth video, which will probably be the final video. And I think I'm going to go for 25 minutes for this. If you're going to do this, yeah, there are consequences with things like this. There are consequences with wiping out a creature. We don't really know what those consequences are, because we don't really know what those creatures' purposes are. Okay, for instance, I can give you the story that I've learned about the Thunderbird, and I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to get some flack from maybe Narf or other tribes if they're watching. We don't know what the purpose of these supernatural creatures are, but as far as the Native Americans view, Thunderbird was basically a guardian of vengeance that would swoop down and take pale-faced people, children, for taking the land from the Native Americans. And the 13th colony thing has never really been resolved. And in my personal opinion, I believe whatever Powhatan or Cherokee or Creek or Blackfoot tribe was on the East Coast, it was flushed from that area. Most likely summoned a tribe of Yetis or Bigfoot or Sasquatch, whatever you want to call it, to come and wipe out the 13th colony for the simple fact that that land was theirs and it was taken from them. And most of our tribes were pretty much wiped out so that the 13th colony could have that spot. The 13 colonies of Virginia were only 12 of them have been known to like flourish, and the 13th colony was wiped out. But no one stakes claim to that. No one knows why or how. Few people really give a damn now because it's been so damn long ago. So many years ago, when I really wanted to be a cop and before I started making films and writing these stories, it always dawned on me what the hell happened. So I wrote a story about it. And I made them be taken by aliens compared to turning Bigfoot into bad guys. I made Bigfoot what he was always meant to be, a guardian and protector of tribal life. And in doing so, if anybody ever finds my stories in my shed and read them, they'll probably think that I'm crazy. But I would tell you the God honest truth, no one really fucking knows what the Native Americans know spiritually. And because we don't really share that stuff with outsiders, it's hard to say. And since technically I'm an outsider, y'all ever see the movie True Heart with Val Kilmer where one of his ancestors or one of his parents was Native American? He had to go solve some issues on the resi because he was a cop. And the same thing, like if you ever seen the movie Wind Talkers where they use the Navajo language to transfer code so that the bad guys wouldn't understand what's going on. Okay, True Heart, fiction. Wind Talkers, not fiction. However, in the same path, there's not as many Native American celebrities as there should be. It's like there's not that many black celebrities like there should be. And then there's hardly any celebrities of mixed ethnicity like there should be. I can point out two that have been acknowledged. I'm pretty sure there's probably more than two, but two for sure have been acknowledged, which is The Rock and Tiger Woods. I would love to be that third man on that totem pole, even if I'm at the bottom of the totem pole. Yeah, I'd still like to be that third man on the totem pole. Because of my mixed ethnicity, it makes me dig into things a little bit more. As a person of multicultural, any of my videos, I've probably said this before, kind of not knowing where we fit in has been an issue. But I'll be honest, off Jump Street, there are things that, we all as a people want to understand or need to understand, and curiosity seems to lead the white people more deep into things where everyone else is like, yeah, well, let's take a pass on that because we're really just not comfortable with trying to find out why these creatures are out there. And as of late, I think, like, as of these shows like that have been popping up on Destination America about scary stuff, and I'm definitely gonna have to make a new video because this is a 24-minute mark, about like legendary ghosts and things like that. And generally only the white people are the ones that are adamantly into that, and they're also adamantly the ones out trying to hunt these things down and find a reason for hunting them down. It's 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 one of them things that make you think. So if we are thinking people, then we need to think about the big picture and what could really happen when things go wrong. You start fucking with things that you have no power of understanding. Quote from the Indian in the cover: "You should not do magic that you don't understand." Okay, but the same thing goes with like creatures. You should not fuck with creatures that you don't understand. And even if you understand them, you should probably still leave them the fuck alone. Yes, that is a stab for all the white people and all the white shows that are going around looking for these things, trying to start problems. There was a good line in Will Smith's first independent movie, independent film, Independence Day, whatever the fuck this shit was called. Y'all know what I was trying to say. Where he punched the alien in the face, goes "Welcome to Earth." That one, where he said it way deep in the movie. It's like, I know you guys did not come all the way to Earth to pick a fucking fight, which they basically did. And it's the same thing that we're kind of doing with these shows about fucking with Bigfoot and all that shit. We've gone all the way out into the woods and picked a fight. You know, yeah, be careful at who you picking a fucking fight with, because just like in real life, you might not win. You know, you might pick a fight with a dude that can whoop your ass 7 ways from Sunday, and because you thought you were a badass, you know, you're in a big bad Leroy Brown situation when you come back and your face looks like it's a jigsaw puzzle with some of the pieces gone. So I'm gonna close this out, and I'm gonna make one last video, and I'm gonna try to keep it short because this is almost at the 30-minute mark. And once it's the 30-minute mark, it's needing to be stopped. You know, so I'm gonna put it to you the easy way. You know, if you're gonna go after these supernatural creatures, and you have a TV crew and all that stuff, you know, and it's fun and dandy and it's great entertainment and everything. But the big picture is, you know, it's kind of like when the Ninja Turtles came out, and how in New York they had to go grab some white kids who went down in the sewer trying to literally find the Ninja Turtles. Which goes back to why I love white people, because you guys really set the bar and you really don't give a damn about the big picture. And I know that sounds funny and it sounds racist, and it kind of is racist, but it's also exceptionally true. You know, because a lot of kids in my neighborhood would never go into a big black pit in the street where when you flush the toilet, it's a good chance that somebody's shit's gonna hit you in the face. So you know you have to kind of think these things through. And a lot of people have you when you're watching these shows. A lot of times you're often asking yourself, "What the fuck are they thinking? What can you do?" You know. So I'm gonna make another video because this is 27:27 and I'm done.